Hi, I'm Laurie Doran. I'm an artist, studio arts teacher, and Apple Distinguished Educator, and I'm super excited to be here with you. Many people are calling last year a loss. I would challenge that we've gained more than we lost. Content versus confidence, compassion, and creative thinking. I think last year was not only a win, but a way to move forward and redefine our teaching and learning. I will share some examples of lessons, student work, and strategies that I use to engage learners. At the end, you can decide, was it really a loss? After months of remote learning due to the pandemic, riots and racial unrest, confusion and loss, I felt it important to start the year with a temperature check. I asked the question, what's on your mind? Eliciting a visual response from my students. This was a project that was shared throughout our department from 5th to 12th grade. Here are a few of the responses: messages of protest and messages of hope. Students were able to share their feelings. This is a wonderful chance to share, open the door for discussion, and let students know that their feelings were valued. It also gave them a platform to see their work as a vehicle for change. I took this a step further and asked them if they could put their message in public space, where would it be? Who would you want to influence? Who would you want to see your message? These were the results. Both of these challenges were done on the iPad using either Keynote or Procreate. Creativity. Students shared their voice. This lesson is really easy to adapt to any grade level or subject. It allows you to infuse your content with creativity and see what your students are passionate about. You can find this lesson in Inside Ideas, a series of books created by Apple Distinguished Educators, available on the Apple Bookstore for free. Ask what students want to learn. Help them create a path. This was a sketch note challenge where students set goals and paths to achieve them. Also ask how they want to share their learning. I offer a lot of choice in media, traditional or digital, or choosing the best app for the job. This choice board was a lifesaver for my team and me for the first year of remote learning. Perhaps you could collaborate with a colleague to create your own. Offering choice helps students grow as independent learners. Leveraging apps to maintain connection was key. Finding lessons that allowed for personal expression with the possibility of connecting to others was one way I built community. Students were challenged to develop an imaginary friend, someone who could come to class with them so they were not working at home alone. Here's what they created. Next, they worked in small groups for a project that we called Best Day Ever. What if your friends could get together? It was fun for them to imagine all the things they could do working together while physically apart. Google slide decks were created for students to track and share progress. With the right supports, students found ways to come together. Students who might not have spoken up in class left and received thoughtful comments for their peers. Students stepped out of their comfort zones to become a vital part of their class, their bravery rewarded with a newfound confidence. Last year seemed like everything was new. Together we made so many mistakes we became fearless. And this is where we learned perseverance and resilience, and we learned to give grace. As I'm sharing many of my successes from last year, it seems only fair to share a fail. Rising Tide's a collaboration that didn't fly. Let's listen to the description. Some deny that climate change is real, while others make it their mission to save our beautiful Earth. Welcome to Rising Tides. 7 local artists explore the effects of climate change, global warming, pollution, and related environmental concerns on bodies of water and aquatic species. Rising Tides exhibition will celebrate the power of art to visualize our ecological crisis and global change. Eighth grade, paired with 12th grade. You will look, discuss, respond, and present. As artists and activists, you will challenge your audience. As the sun sets on our planet, which side are you on? Students didn't know each other and didn't connect. This is one where no matter how much support I provided, I could not break through the black boxes of Zoom to get them to connect. Students were shutting down and we had to pivot, redefine, and reduce the project and get out. Upon reflection, I should have built more community building into this before launching the big project. There was a lot learned about the artists, solid discussions around climate, and artists creating change. I had to focus on the positive, move forward and reflect, so next time would be better. Big and small, celebrating our success and telling our story was so important to our well-being. This was by far our biggest success, for students and for myself. Step 1, students created portrait collages. Next, they digitally manipulated those portraits 5 times to tell a story about themselves. They loaded their art into Book Creator, adding text. What they came up with was purely amazing. Let's look at 2 examples. With the iPad and its apps, student stories were instantly shared on social media and with the school community. I learned the most about my students' learning by how they talked about their process. Just like creating this video allowed me to reflect on my teaching. As with any project, students have choice in how they show their learning. You will see examples done in Adobe Spark and also in Keynote. Students reflect on both challenges and successes and look for ways they can take their learning forward. Although the emphasis here is on process versus product, you can see how each student embraced the opportunity to create as they demonstrated their learning. Here's one with student voice.
Before starting the project, we had to understand how our self-portrait would be structured and what materials would be used for the collage. The project title says it all. We had to collect different materials such as magazines to construct our self-portrait. We started with learning the face anatomy to align with our face. Next, we made a black and white silhouette for shadow references. Then we chose a color scheme, but I had multiple choices when designing. I finished the coloring and shaping process digitally, so I had to choose a final one to transfer to paper. I decided the brighter image to the right was my final choice. I made an outline on the digital copy to reference when working on paper. Since the transfer to paper took longer, I focused a lot on finishing it without documenting my steps. However, I do have a digital sketch that resembles the original. When gathering materials, I had to create close shapes to my sketch. It wasn't easy or perfect, but the end result was a success, and that's all that mattered. Some thoughts I had during the process was that I wanted to show just myself, such as my glasses. I hope the viewer could see the real me through my design and that I tried my best. I learned that I need to pace myself better during some steps, and I wanted my design to be so accurate on some parts I didn't have much time to work on others. Based on that, I would say pacing myself was a struggle faced and that making deadlines will help me use my time better. I was successful enough with my process that it wasn't too hard. I enjoyed the project and will say I'm glad it's done. I would make some changes, such as double checking my colors and my organization of my process and timing, but wanting to make changes is to be expected. I also wanted to share some images I referenced from my style to the right. Everything I face will be a learning experience to make my future better. This project had positives and negatives, but I'll know what to improve for other projects, and my final outcome was a challenge journey but was successful and enjoyable nonetheless.
As you heard in the student reflections, there are always new challenges to be faced. There will be times of struggle, and that's where one learns. In this last year or two, students have made great strides in becoming independent learners. They have persevered through tough times and uncertainty. They have connected through technology, making visual their personal challenges. Students have learned to advocate for themselves and for change. These students, even the quiet ones, have found their voice and their confidence. There's not a test to check for this kind of knowledge and growth. The skills they learn apply across discipline. It's time to fill the classrooms with choice, voice, creativity, and discover the passion of our students. It is time to reflect and refine. It is a time for change, embracing failure as part of the learning process. It is time to create new and empowering classrooms. In closing, I will celebrate student success and say no to learning loss.